Only a couple of things you need to know.
Play your bluff.
I'm just going to do a wood spirit, which means I'm doing nose, eyes, and hair, basically. And one of the things that a lot of people do is when they first start out, is they make the face too big for the piece of wood they have. And that is a very common mistake. And one of the things I find interesting is again, I'm going to need access to those two. I'm sorry. Well, that's all right. Yeah.
Come over here and sit down.
Yeah, you need to sit down there.
He's going to be one of the best.
This is an example right here
You can see it. You sit right there.
of what happens when you carve.
It tends to be a little bit
There's a lot of perception issues with
like
carving.
a lot of the medical terminology.
Am I going in somebody?
If you can overlook that.
Here are the perception issues that you have.
So you can go over and listen to what you got to say, because you.
Which of these lines is the longest?
They're the same.
It's a perception issue.
The top line.
That line and that
I'm
line.
sorry.
The horizontal part.
They're the same.
They're exactly the same. And you look at that really close and you go, there's no way.
Top one's much bigger.
The top one is much longer. And that's what happens when you do sculptural work, is that you create something and it expands. It expands because of the things you add to it. For example, in this case, what we're going to be doing is a little wood spirit. I'm going to do a little smaller one than I normally would on this size piece, but on this size piece, I normally would do something about this big. That is 3/4 the size of my face. And it doesn't look like it, but it is. But what happens is that when you add the hair to it, and the beard and all that stuff, it makes this look bigger than that, as you'll see here in just a few minutes. To make this really simple, I'm just going to talk about the rule of three. The rule of three is that the distance from the chin to the nose, bottom of the nose, this is the columella that comes in right here, here to here, the same distance as it is from here to the brow line, not the eyes, and from here to the turn of the head, not the top of the head. Top of the head's back here. As your head turns this way, it increases as it goes back. Now that only counts for people with brains. Now if somebody, you're doing somebody's kind of brainless, oh, there's a good model. So that's important that you realize that this is not going to be the top of the head. That is the measurements for the face. There's only one other measurement you need to know, and that is from the chin to the center of the eyes, which is just below the bridge. See, if I put this pen right here in the bridge of my nose, I can still see you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this into thirds. Let's see here. I'm going to go here to here, here to here. I'm lucky. Here, I didn't quite make it there though, did I? And there's the turn of the head. So those are my dimensions this way. And typically what I'll do here is I'll take this and go way past where we'll be doing that. Like that. And if anybody in this room sees my little leather mallet sing out, CSD is struck again. what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first pitch on the face. What happens here is your face pitches back like this. If you think of it, the hands of a clock, this hand would be on an 11 or 10, depending on how little brains you have up there. This would be on a 5 or a 7 here. So you have a pitch this way from the tip of the nose to this right here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and push this back. I'm not going to do the lower pitch because I'm going to put a beard down there. I just want to put this pitch in here. And I carry that pitch all the way up past the turn of the head. Now, for those of you new, notice how dangerous this is. Not at all. Because what I'm doing, I have all my fingers and toes away from it. Not anywhere close to where I'm carving. That's not so true. I'd say the most dangerous tool in the toolbox is the knife. Because when you work with a knife, you generally hold it in your hand. And that's dangerous. I try not to do, I even do real small carvings. I do them mounted like this. And I would also say this. The hardest thing to learn about carving is the form. The details are easy. The form is what's difficult. And if you can learn how to do form, the details just fall in place. There's nothing to it. And to show you how important form is, just think about this. Let's say you were out here on the front porch of this shop, and you look down there and you saw your wife or your husband or boyfriend or maybe your wife and your girlfriend going across the street up there into a store, and you go like, oh, wonder why they're going in. Wonder why Betty's going into the store there with Deborah. and so as you're looking at it, from that distance, you can't see a single detail, but you know automatically who that is. You recognize them. What you're recognizing is the form. And the form is the most critical part of doing any sculptural work, whether it be a caricature or realistic or whatever. The form makes or breaks the piece. Another example of how important form and detail relationship is, I always tell people this, that if you take a good square block of wood and you carve the most intricate stitching on it, like a baseball stitching, and you carved it and did this wonderful stitching on it, when you get through with that, you don't have a baseball, you have a square block of wood with stitching. If you don't get that underlying form in there first, it don't matter. So learn the form. And it's not difficult. I shouldn't have said that. I should have said form is the most difficult thing to learn. And so this is what I'm doing, is setting up form right now. That's all I'm doing. Okay. All right. Now, so after I put the pitch in the face, now because this is kind of a shallow relief carving, well, it's not too shallow, but some shallow, because it's a shallow relief carving, not like three-dimensional, I am not going to follow every one of the rules that I would if it was three-dimensional. Okay? And that means that your face comes to a 90-degree point right here. I'm not going to make this 90 degrees. I'm going to set it back and to a reasonable pitch. But I'm not gonna make 90 degrees on it, because if I did, I'd go through the back of the wood. So I don't wanna do that. All right, now get it behind me. This was a number 5, and for those of you that are new, the numbers, when I say this is the number 5, this is like a, I don't know, 16 millimeter, 15 millimeter, I don't know. This is a 5.
It's closer to a 20.
Is it? Okay. Now I gotta look.
Gene, you got your mic on, don't you?
Yep.
I'll be darned, it looks like 20 maybe. These are both 5s. But this one, there's no telling what the size of this thing is, because it was that much longer.
35.
It was probably a 40 or 45 one time. Anyway, these are both 5s. So 5 just refers to the amount of curvature. The more curvature you have, the higher the number. And for example,
Fingers.
only a couple of things you need to know.
Play your blade.
I'm just going to do a wood spirit, which means I'm doing 11. It's U-shaped, okay? So, I think that's... I'm one of these two. Okay, so, now I want to make a smeller on this guy. Give me my tool holder. Let's see. So, in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number 11, I'm going to go under my third right there, so that from the chin to the bottom of the nose will be where it belongs. And as I come across, I step down just a little bit, like that. Because if I don't step down, what will happen is I'll break the nose off. Because it's U-shaped, the deeper I go, it puts pressure. And everybody in this room, even the people who are just starting out now, can see that when I hit this, something's going to break. And they know it's going to break to the south, in this case. Why does it break to the south? Even if I go straight in, it's going to break to the south. It's because energy will take the path of least resistance. And so I have least resistance from the south. Right here, least resistance is to the north. So I want to take care to make sure I don't have any binding down here. I was teaching a class one time, giving that lesson, and I said, and so you never want to do that, and I went across there in the same trench and it broke it off. Dumb move. Okay, now this tells me how far out of the face I want the nose. And the nose is half in the face and half out. That means from this is the nasolabial groove to the tip of the nose. It's the same distance as from the nasolabial groove to the back of the nares, back here. And that part is in the face. This part of the face comes forward right here, like that. Another thing about noses, where's my tool holder? There we go. Another thing about noses is that the nose is as wide at the top as it is the bottom. And you hear everybody look, yeah, that ain't true. It's a little triangle there. If you make it like a triangle, it will never be realistic. The reason is, what you perceive is the width of the base of the nose here and the narrowness of the top of the nose here. Actually, in form, it's more like a trapezoid. It goes from the edge of the nose to this lacrymal fossa, or that tear duct. You go straight up to the edge of the here, straight up to here. And that way it is parallel all the way up. Okay? Now, come around here, Rebecca. Let me use you as a model real quick. Now, also what happens is the top side is parallel from the ball of the nose all the way up. So it's equidistant on either side of this as it goes up. That's good, thank you. So keep that in mind. The nose is not level across the bottom, forms a little bit of a V here and here. Okay? It has a little bit of an arch right in there. There's probably something else about the nose, but well, I forgot.
If your nose runs and your feet smell, you're built upside down. That's
Yeah, there you go.
the main thing.
So what I'm doing is
You
I'm
like that, didn't you?
I'm doing my two parallel marks. And you see, I'm actually this nose is going to be pretty wide with that because what I have drawn is just the top side. It's probably a little narrower than mine, but at that mark. So what I want to do, very simply, come up here and go under the brow. Come up through here, like that. Go under the brow. And what I have to do as I do this, I have to make this trench deeper than the center. I have to actually make it as deep over here as this is from here to here. I got to make this that from here to here that deep. And because your face is 90 degrees, all this material to the sides got to go away. So it's in your way. Come down here. Like that. Come back here. Trying to get away from me. Alright. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is take this and just go over to that edge. You might notice how I'm holding my tools. I hold my tools like this so that I don't get tired. If I hold my tool like this, in 15 minutes I'll be going. So I hold it all kinds of funny different ways. But the main purpose of holding it like that is so that I don't wear my hand out. Alright. Let's do the other side real quick here. I have to tell you, it normally takes me about, I'd say about 45 minutes to do a piece like this. So if this is like watching paint dry for you, it's going to get worse. And part of my form requirement here, and the most difficult one for most people to get, is the depth that you have to have to the side of the nose. And for some reason, I've been teaching classes for 25, 26 years, I don't know, a long time. And in all the years I've been teaching, I have never got an entire class to do that correctly. Now, didn't that just seem real simple? Now it's ready to start the nose. I got the form in place. Now I'm ready to start working on the nose. Okay? So, let me get a couple more tools. 11. It's U-shaped. Okay? And so, okay.
First off, he's got the right tool. Size and all this. But what he's working on, if you're in a small place, and it's small, you wouldn't use that big a tool, but you'd probably be using the same. But the
I'm gonna smooth this up just a tad because I don't like the roughness of it. And as you'll notice, I'm going in just a little bit because this ball on the end of the nose is a little bit larger. It'll wind up that way, don't worry. When I'm through, I could see you guys worried about it.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put this little V right in here. And that V can be anything, any degree of V you want. You can have ridiculously long. World, I can't get the same time. But I can. I believe you got it. It might have tightened up that time. Yeah, I don't keep these in a great environment. I keep them out there in the barn. As a result, they get a little cranky on me. Okay. So now I've created that little V.
Now, you've got them the same, but they don't have to be a certain degree.
No, it don't have to be a certain degree, because some people, if you look around the room, some people that V is more than others. And this one's a little more than it's going to be before I'm finished. So I put a little extra oomph in there, because this is the way I carve. A little extra on that. You have that too. Now this was a number 5, another size 5. Now I'm going to a 7. The reason I want to do a 7 is that the narrows, this part right here of the nose, is an arc, a little tiny arc there. And you can go anywhere from a 7 down to a 5 to create that arc, depending on a lot of things. Most of the time it has to do with male or female, young and old. For example, come here, Beckham.
he doesn't have much, he doesn't have much.
That's right. See the difference in the arc on his and mine? I got quite a bit of an arch here. See hers? Hers doesn't have much of an arch.
Almost doesn't exist.
Yeah. Girls, females tend to have less of an arch there. They tend to have less coarse features than me. Thank goodness.
We like it that way, don't we?
Yeah. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the edge of this and just come in here and just rake that in there like that. Like that.
The catalog can give it free.
I keep the bottom edge of this on the bottom edge of the nose, just like that. Right there. Come in here, that. Take a little more off. I want that to be a little more narrow up there. And by doing this, I accentuate that narrowness just a little bit more by doing that.
I can't see any of this.
I heard somebody say they can't see anyway. Am I in your way? Nobody answers. I didn't want to. Okay. All right, so now what I want to do is I'll put that little arc in the nose. I'm going to go to the back side of the nose. There's a little arch in here. Right here. Put a little arch right in here. Just like that. And now let me have that flat tool again. I think I can do it with this. Now I want to round up the ball of the nose, just make it a little bit rounder. Yeah. Take this, go up under it just a bit. One of the things, and I have to apologize about this, I'm a very sloppy carver. I don't carve clean. I know a lot of people carve clean, and it's to their benefit, and that they do so. I just get in such a hurry. I don't clean up stuff so well. Now, don't that starting to look like a smeller?
No, it isn't. No, it's not starting. It is.
That looks like a good start to a smeller. I say start because there's a lot more to it than just that. A lot of people would stop right there. That wouldn't be exactly right. There are several things you have to do to make that look better. One, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to skip all that because, this is like a pop-up class, and it'll take me forever if I did all the details. Now up here, I'm going to cut this in here, like that. Cut that through that brow line. Males tend to have a supraorbital ridge or a bridge right across through here, and males are T, or women are Y's in the structure up here. So now we're going to do the eyes, and the eyes are just as easy. It wasn't hard, was it?
No, you made it look very easy.
It was. It was easy.
Easy for you.
Easy for me. Easy for
You
everybody.
must have those automated tools that people work with.
Well, they are experienced. These are experiencst tools. And, if they don't do what I tell them to, I put them up and pull out a note. We heard somebody talking about having a lot of tools and all that. But everybody knows that he who dies with the most tools wins. And in this group, I'm winning.
I'm trying to get the run. I ain't even close.
Okay.
You're not gonna win, but you're not gonna lose either.
I'm not gonna be total.
I'm not gonna be the last one.
Switch over to a couple of different tools here.
Keep them all organized.
Yeah.
That's why.
CSD.
You said it, but I didn't
I
know
don't
it's
know what that means.
It would be a lot easier if
That's,
you remember.
that is cut, shuffling deals.
Oh, I see.
My wife comes in here and cut, shuffles, and deals this place every night. Last night I was working on this piece. I had my mallet sitting right there on it and everything. So she put it in a nice place.
It's safe.
for me.
Wherever it is, it's safe.
Yeah.
Hey, you can get her on the phone and she'll tell you right where it is.
Oh, she knows where everything is. Because she cut and shuffled and dealt it. She knows where I saw it. CSD. You haven't heard that? Accusing her.
Uh-oh.
Accusing her. But I came in this morning and everything had been moved in here from last night. She
Very. Wood berry.
She was over here for 2 hours by herself. Okay. All right. So now what I want to do, I want to smooth some of this up. Take a large five, and I don't have to have all these, a lot of different tools. It just makes it go faster. You can carve anything I carve with about 7 or 8 different tools. That's all it takes. It just would take you longer.
You have more than 7 or 8 over here on the wall.
I know. Like I said, he who has the
I
most
know.
tools wins. And I'm ahead of this crowd. Particularly considering I have 2 more sets of tools that you don't see.
And all the ones that you take for your students when you teach.
Yeah. Okay, so now what I want to do is set this up form-wise first. Form is the most important thing. So what I have to do is to make sure that from chin to the center of the eye is the same distance as it is from bone, this bone to this bone, eye orbit to eye orbit.
Say that again.
The distance from the chin to the center of the eye
Chin to the center of the eye.
is the same distance as it is from eye orbit, edge of the eye orbit to the edge of the eye orbit. In other words,
Boom.
here to here is the same distance as it is from this bone to this bone. Right here. Right there at the eye. It does not mean the head, just the face. Again, we don't have time to go into more anatomy about this.
Very distinct. I mean, if you've never heard of Sand Hill, you know exactly.
So, you have that tool now. There you go, thank you. I ran one off already.
I'd have been gone sooner, but I couldn't get a way out.
Couldn't find the channel. So I want to push this down. Now, I would push this a lot deeper if I was doing if I was doing a three-dimensional piece here. I would I'd push this a lot deeper than I'm going to do this right here. Because you look at my face, the edge of my eye, you know, back here to hair, it's probably about an inch, inch and a quarter maybe. I don't know. I've never looked at the side of my face. It's hard to do. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set this up so that I have proper eye form. Again, so critical, the form be correct. Okay? Real deep.
Huge. And it's kind like glass, so the birds can't see it.
Okay. And I was using another 11, and this was a big one. 25, 11, 25. 11, 10. Second row to the right.
Fifth row to the right,
Down.
down, that,
Sand Hills.
Take a look at the bottom.
The other right.
the other right, the other right, the other row.
Kind of here.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, let me just talk about the eye very quickly. In a quick sense, this point, this point, this point, and this point are structurally the same. They are perpendicular to the long axis of the face. Boom, 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 boom. Now you'll find the presentation will vary a little bit, mostly in females, where the outside comes a little bit higher on the outside, just slightly on the female. If you'll look at Kay's, you can see hers rises to the outside as it comes across. And that is due to the orbicularis aris muscles. The orbicularis muscles of females have, because there's no supraorbital ridge, are attached slightly differently and creates this tendency for it to rise on the outside.
That's why they're happy all the time.
Huh?
That's why they're happy all the time.
Yeah, right. You got it.
I know she's happy. She tells me.
The eyes sit in the head at an angle, like this. See that? They not only sit in the eye at an angle, the bottom tucks under the top. I'm going to exaggerate this so you can see it real good. This goes under here. This goes under here. You can see it on the back of it. You have to be an old man like me to have this. he has the same thing. Rotate around there so people can see the corner of your eyes. See how this comes up under the upper lid on him.
Stand near you for those years for a while.
Yeah,
Just carve on him.
So,
Looked
but
like somebody carved all the wrinkles off of him anyway.
Yeah, they did.
you hadn't got any wrinkles left. You've been sandpaper in that
Okay,
face.
I'll stand by.
You know, it's not shaped like an almond. Your eye is a series of 5 planes. You want to draw these in an exaggeration so you can see it. This is the nose here. Your eye comes up, over, and down. Get a third of the way back, up this way into the tear duct right there. That is the planes of the eye. And what happens when you carve it and in real life, what happens is there's no sharp edges here or here or here. And it creates that look. If you try to make it like an almond or you try to make it like a football, it will never look correct. So you need to keep in mind the 5 planes of the eye when you're carving. If you'll look at my eyes, as you get older, things change, but the presentation is still the same. I have a lot of stuff coming down over my eyes, you see.
Say,
Thank you.
they have swag.
It's swag, that's what he
But
meant.
this is
This extra don't need no gallery help.
But if you look at mine, mine goes up and trails downward a little bit and then quickly drops off of the edge. See that?
And this is one of the books that says you don't have to buy.
So you can see those planes if you look real close at my eyes.
And I.
Bored already?
Okay? And you can see it in everyone's eyes, even young people. If you pay attention, it will have all 5 planes in there and you'll be able to see them if you look for them. You know, a casual glance will make them look, you know, a little differently, but you must get that form correct before you detail it out. Okay. I'll say something very, 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 very important and very, 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 very hard to do is to make sure that the eyes have peripheral vision. In other words, you know, I can look over there at Rich, or I can look at David. David, is that right? David. I heard somebody say your name a while ago. And I can see Clark. I can see him because I have peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is so severe on some people, like me, that my fingers going straight in touch at the same time the inside and the outside. My outside of my eyes that's further back than the inside. And that's structural. That is bone structural. And I have a skull back here, but we'll never get to it. It was from a student. It was a really bad student. He gave me a hard time.
That's ready to keep close.
Bless his
Keep
soul.
your mouth shut.
So,
Sharp tools.
and the tendency for most people is to make the eyes too large. They grow just like the face on this will grow. And you might notice, even now, that my lines are where they were when I started. Okay? Just keep that in mind when I finish, what it looks like. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the center, because we've got a ball here. Take this and I'm going to push this around. And the reason I'm pushing that around is I want peripheral vision, and I also want to make sure that I have there's a ball in there. It's like a ping pong ball. You see about 20% of that ball. That's all you see is about 20% of the ball. So now I'm gonna put it this way with it.
Because
Now I'm leaving a little material over the top of this, because I want this to be a kind of an old, sagey looking guy. So I'm gonna leave a little more material on here than if I was doing somebody like Beckham, for example. All right, I'm starting in the middle here, round up like that. Believe it or not, we're almost finished with these eyes. We've gotten, when we get to 4, we got it. It's so much easier. Again, pay attention how I'm holding my tool. I think it's very important if you do a lot of this kind of stuff. Learn to use your tools. And also, notice how I'm using this thing. I don't like that. I use it very lightly. I let the hammer do the work. Most of the time, when I'm really doing it hard, 2 fingers and a thumb. That's all it's holding it. And it's going like this. It looks like I'm gripping it, but what's actually happening is that I'm letting that little flip right there do the work for me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's see this. All right. Now, where's my tool hole? There we go. I don't need that.
I know, 3-dimensional like that.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to draw up, over, down, up, over, down, like that.
That becomes the focal point. Yeah, it is.
Okay. So there's the top side. Now the bottom side, it's going to look a little strange to some people. Others it won't.
The wood knew you were going to do that.
There. That. Okay. Now,
He's moving away.
Or the Noah's Ark. Still working on
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that's.
no, I was actually looking for a box. It's not shaped like an almond.
By the way, is a Vic Hood Signature Series 9. They are available
We paused for this brief announcement.
Yeah, brief commercial.
from G.
From Gene. Gene.
Or you might be the only one that has it.
Well, actually, I don't know. I do have 2. Anyway, this is 11-3. Now, I just did this with 11, this with 11, this with 11, all that. Now I'm stepping down to an 11-3. And I'm going to stay inside those pencil marks that I made. Right there. And you can take material out on the interior. Like that. Like that. I don't know when I started this thing. When did I start this thing?
A long time ago.
Oh, you getting bored already?
The grass has already grown so much, we're gonna have to cut it.
I'm gonna have to cut the grass. Well,
We've been watching it grow.
I just didn't want this to last a long time and everybody get bored.
Ain't that
It's probably 10 o'clock.
Okay. Take a little more volume out of that. So I do this with 11-3 first. Now I'm going to take this knife and I'm going to outline this edge, what I just did.
You're outlining what you drew?
I'm going right inside it, just right inside of what I drew. So you can see the pencil mark still left from using the 11, and I followed those 5 pitches using that 11. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this knife. Okay, once I do that, we'll take material out from the inside of the eye, both directions from the center. Okay, same thing over here. Up. Slips. Can't do that on the carpet.
Well, the rules on that.
Okay. Take that out. Then we'll leave you alone.
Every time I try something simple like that, I'm going to
Now, with this, I've got most of the interior of the eye done. And all that's left for me to do now is the exterior of the eye. Alright? I think I'll use that 11-3 again.
and we're all looking at, well, the old.
Alright. So I'm going to take this 11-3. I'm going to create some bags under the eyes.
Yeah, I love that now. That's
Like that.
Video, like right now.
One of the things I want to do while I'm making this bag is to make sure that the eye comes forward. You see from here, it comes forward at the bottom. That is, helps give the, it's not an illusion, it helps illustrate the form of the eyes round by coming out this way. So I've got to push underneath the form that was created. This little bag. Now I have a decision to make as to whether I want to put eyelids. I can make them lidded or unlidded at this point. And to make them lidded, all I do is take this 11 and run across over the top and create a shadow up there. Or to leave them unlidded, what I'm going to undercut that just slightly. See a slight undercut in there to make it unlidded.
Can you make him wink?
I could. But I have to cut one of the eyes off.
No,
If
no.
you wanted that, you needed to do it first.
Yeah, you need to put that order in early. But, yeah, you can do, the eyes are the most expressive part of the face. You know? You get your attitude, from the eyes. Right? You can do this and make him look sinister, or you can make him look
Nothing
Make
so.
them happy, you know, with adding, you know, the mouth to the expression. You can make somebody look sinister or happy with almost the same results. I mean, you can have somebody look really worried like they go this, or you know, but the eyes are really the most important part of creating an expression. Okay? So, I'm going to cut this in here a little bit. Now, one of the things that's kind of critical is that you have the perception of depth on the sides of the eyes, here and here. I say the perception of it because we can't do that any other way than create vanishing points. Okay? What I mean by that, with a deep shadow right here, I'm going to cut this in here, and I'm going to cut a little deep shadow right there. Look at this. Started out over there before you know it, you'll be off the front porch. You're probably right. All you have to do, if you're having a problem seeing me, all you have to say is, hey, quit moving around the floor, and I'll move it back. But, so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to create a nice shadow on either side of the eye. Right here, we're taking this triangle out of the corner, just like that. And in here the same way. A little shadow right in there. So what that does is create more of a rounded look. Okay, now we've got to come up with
Like this, the neck doesn't come straight across, it goes down like that. Right, right. But I don't do faces really much at all.
By the way, is a Vic Hood signature series.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the attitude of this piece. Tool holder.
You really moved away there.
Did I? Okay.
I wish your shoulders and back were
just-
transparent.
Well, you can move around. I don't care. The guy behind you might care, but I don't.
The guy next to me said he wanted that new backup camera that doesn't show.
Move on now.
You know, I said,
You know, that would be nice.
oh, wouldn't it be amazing?
Yeah. I wonder how they do it.
I have no idea.
It's amazing technology. What I'm doing now is I'm drawing the iris in with a glint, not a pupil. Carvings this size, I don't put pupils in. I just put the glint in the eyes. Right there. Okay. And now, let me have that this one right here. I'm going to take this 11.7, I think. Yeah, 11.7. And I'm going to kind of put an attitude on it. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come very high here, sharply turn that just like that. And same over here. Take that pretty high. Now I'm going to take this less high over here. I'll go a little lower so it doesn't have the same value on each side of the eye. There. Okay.
Yeah, I've been pretty cut on it. I looked pretty good before.
lower, so he doesn't have the same value on each side of the eye. There. Okay.
Yeah, I've been kind of cutting them. They looked pretty good before.
There you go. So what I want to do is soften all this. Soften all that above the eye. Just look around at your neighbor there and you'll notice all that softness up in here. It may not be quite as extreme as I made this, or it may be more extreme. Just depends. I'm going to make that too soft. Okay. That makes a pretty good rough end for the eyes right there. Stuff away from it. Okay. Now, there's more to do on the eyes, more to do on the nose, but this is a pretty good rough end. Okay? Now what we want to do is the mouth structure. Come down through here. And I have to say, I see a lot of people do these things, they have a little V shape right here underneath. Oh, your thing's sticking out up under there like that. That doesn't look like a, you know, they do it up in front like that. It doesn't look very good to me. When the mustache comes down real sharply on the edges. What a mustache looks like is like his. It goes across and then down, across and down. You know? Look at Ken's.
Kay wants to borrow your foot massager in the office.
Hey, have at it.
Nick, don't even.
Okay. Anyway, it comes across and then down. It does not pinch up right here. You can have it like Ken's there, which covers the upper lip in its entirety. And his, instead of going straight across like his does, his tapers down a little bit. It all depends on how you cut it. Okay?
I don't have any barbers. I don't have any barbers, so it kind of gets hodgepodge.
The main thing about a mouth, structurally, and the very most difficult thing apparently that people have doing good mouths is, and when you take a bite out of a piece of bread, it should look like a horseshoe, not a staple. If you put a straight edge across here, the only thing that touches is the tip right here, not here and here. And for some reason, people have a very difficult time making this arc properly. So that's what we're going to do to make that arc properly. I think I'll start out with another two. Make sure that that's very parabolic. Come around here. Push this down into here. What'd that just do?
Oh, you just ruined $100 knife.
Rattle out. Yes, it will.
I reckon.
You do things right. I was about to say, if something happens, blade effective. Go get.
Still talking manufacturer.
Manufacturer's warranty still in place.
Is the warranty still good on this?
He looked the other way.
How about the floor? The man next to your floor.
Gotta protect this floor now.
Yeah, you threw me off.
That's one of the things I really like about being in this studio. I don't care what happens to this floor. One day I was carving back over here somewhere right in there. I guess it's gone now. I was carving this material, what was it? Bristlecone pine, and it had so much resin in it. I was tearing up while I was carving it. I mean, I said, man, this stuff. I wonder what it would do. I bet that would light up. It's really good. Smart me. I lit a match and dropped over that pile of shavings. It didn't light up. It exploded. I mean, literally, flames went all over this room.
You were doing a dance you didn't know you could do.
That's right.
Any more of it? Sounds like fun.
Duh. What does that mirror?
Hey, dog, what's
I hate to tell tales on myself. Shut up. People find out
The
real.
other one you need to tell though is that, you know, when you read the instructions on some of that stuff, and it says you could, you know, bust, spontaneously bust.
Yeah.
You need to pay attention.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And the federal cabinet is hard.
So now what I'm going to do is the upper side of that mustache right there.
I think that's first.
And it's important that I get a good volume here. So what I'm trying to do is create volume for the mustache itself.
But
Interestingly enough, the mouth has 5 planes just like the eye. Who knew?
it's neat. Apparently you did.
Apparently, I did. It has 5 planes just like the eyes do. Move that over just go. All right. And before I do that, I think I want to make this mustache look a little better on the outside, just for the fun of it. Okay? I'm going to shape up the face just a little bit. Okay? Beckham, do me a favor. Rotate that around for everybody to see it while I'm gone.
Oh, you didn't get ready. You're good, you're good.
Sorry.
Good job.
Let me show you.
I'm going to put these little ridges right here at the bottom of the eye orbit, which is a bone that runs from here around and upward as it comes around. It's called zygomatic arch. I'm going to put this zygomatic arch in place, and I'm going to exaggerate it just a little bit so it'll look a little bit more interesting. And the bottom of the nose uphill like that. All right. Do that one more time. The reason I wanted to do that, put that in place, is because I have a kind of a saying that you go into the face and then you go out of the face. The mustache Before I do that though, I want to come up here and take this, push this back around here. Yeah. So, this is into the face. I cut that mustache into the face and I make sure that I come from the center, over, and now I'm going to come out of the face. I want that mustache to come out of the face. Let's see, do something like that. Okay? So what I'm going to do, make me a line down through here. And so I'm coming from here. And come on. Alright. So, into the face, out of the face. That way it stands up. Across there. And so now what I want to do is put the lip on. Let's see here. Make sure that that's very parabolic. Mouth. 5 planes, just like the eyes. You see the planes of the eyes really easy in this, but the mouth has the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we're just dealing with the bottom side, what we want to make sure is that we have this coming downward to the chin, but of course we're putting a beard on here and it won't show. But you still have to have the base form correct to make that look right. So we got to cut here, cut here, cut here. And because we have a mustache on here, we have to have a vanishing point. Ken, come up here. I'm going to use you as a model real quick. The reason I wanted you to be a model is that he has really good vanishing point on his mustache because it's heavy, you know, goes over. What happens here? Quit that smile.
He'll stop him.
Yeah. What happens here is you see the shadow gets deep right here and over here on his mustache, and that is a vanishing point. And you have to make this vanishing point appear that the mouth will wind up equal to or behind the nariz. In other words, it has to be parabolic enough that this point and this point are in the same vertical plane. Okay? So we're going to have to make a vanishing point going this way, and we'll do it with planes. All right?
That'll be $20.
Modeling fee. Models are high.
All right, I'm going to put this back up. Also, could you do me a favor? Go back there in my mouth. 5 planes, just like the eyes. You see the planes of the eyes really easy in this, but the mouth has the same thing.
Here it is, bud, right behind you.
Right behind me, okay. Somebody hang on to it. I'm gonna create those 5 planes using this tool. Well, I put my hammer down somewhere. Lost it.
Here it is, bud, right behind you.
Right behind me, okay. Somebody hang on to it. Thank you. That was my wife Pam.
She's the one that lost your mallet for you, right?
No,
Thank you.
that was my fault.
But it's had nothing in it.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't blame it on her then.
No.
We'll kick you out.
He's gone.
How about $20?
No, you won't. It's not refundable.
Not returnable.
No,
Not like
just
broken
went up to
tool.
40.
Yeah.
So what I'm wanting to do is I'm gonna cut down right here. And I actually gonna take it all the way across the front. Like that, make a gigantic lip as I do this. All the way across the front. Pushing it back like that. And while it's like that, I'm gonna go ahead and push this up in here. Taper that into the mouth.
She was a baby.
You gone, Tim? We'll see, but
Where do you park?
Thank you, Tim.
where'd you park?
He's gone by
Oh, he's way down by the church.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, everybody run after Tim. Yep. By the way, you guys, caricature carver, very good one.
He is very good.
Okay.
You have to leave
Well, you know,
next time.
next time, remember, he's the character carver. Well, you know who else does caricatures? Okay, thin that lip up just a little bit. I only got 1 plane in there, so now what I want to do is put the next plane in and create that vanishing.
Back under the mustache.
Back up under that mustache. There. Okay.
You use a Henry Taylor number 3.
You don't have to. It could be a Swiss number 5.
There you go.
Don't, or it could be a Schaff number 5. Or it could be a Dasher number 5.
No, not Addis.
Well, that's
Gaskers are
work.
hard to come by.
Huh?
Gaskers are hard to get sometimes.
They are hard to get, but there's a company that's just now starting to import them.
That's the guy up in,
I don't know. I don't know, but he contacted me the other day. Wanted to know about a list of tools that I would recommend. And so I gave him a list of tools, and he wrote me back and said he wanted a little bio on me and all kinds of stuff, and I was going, I'm glad to tell you what I know, but I don't know. I don't want you to be using me to sell you tools. But I like Dasher. I have plenty of them. I've got several Dasher tools, and I really like them. Uh-oh. He got a
every
little
time I'd call and talk to him, you couldn't never get it, period.
Bucks County.
Diefenbacher. Ron Diefenbacher. That's his name.
Well, this guy's not Deacon.
No?
No, this guy is he is Bucks County Wood Carving Tool Supply. I'm gonna create those 5 planes using this tool.